Hey, time to shine varsity squad, podcast squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I have the privilege of having a great conversation here with Laurie Sudbrink. And she has some serious credentials across the board with regards to helping you get you grit and leveling up. She's an author, speaker, and trainer. And you have to check out her website, unlimitedcoaching.com, where she finds that business leaders face significant pressure to recruit and retain best employees, effectively build a team, create a culture that is healthy. And Laurie's passion for empowering people inspired her to establish Unlimited Coaching Solutions in 1999. She is known for her ability to connect with her audience through her fusion of real-life stories and her practical approach that hit home at an intense and intimate level. Laurie is the author of Leading with Grit, which was endorsed by, get this, people, by Ken Blanchard, the author of The 1 Minute Manager, which is sitting right here to my left, and also Don Miguel Ruiz, The 4 Agreements, which is sitting right here. No, that's on my Kindle, but it's on my Kindle. She's also created the Grit training programs and is an Amazon Choice Grit productivity planner. Laurie speaks to organizations across the globe and continues to work with the best and brightest in the leadership development field. And those are some serious credentials, Laurie. So I'm going to bring you on here. I want to have you introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today squad. But first, please tell us your favorite color and why.
Favorite color. That's a good one because I have so many favorite colors, and I'll say I'm looking out the window right now and I'm going, it's nature. It's the color of nature. I mean, I just love the greens and the blues, and last night the full moon with the pinkish hue and the sunsets, and I can't pick one. So can I just say nature?
Nature, yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. We'll go with nature. That's our new, we're inventing that color. I love it. I picture nature as kind of like a nice huey of green for growth. You got to mix in with blue for the nice sky and the ocean and whatnot. So
yeah, and authenticity, it's
yes.
that genuine, yes.
Tell us your origins, Laurie, where you got started, and let's work our way up, work our way through from there.
Okay, I'm going to try to make this short because I really feel like this started in my childhood. I was a middle child of 14, and it was a blended family.
Wow.
Candidly, it was a very dysfunctional family. And I think that it plays a big role here because I think back to when I was younger, even just trying to get people to communicate and listen to each other and be genuine and talk about things. And fast forward to, about the time that I was working in my first real job, we'll call it. And I was on the factory line, and I got moved up into the office area, and I was the assistant to the controller at the time. And I remember thinking, gosh, this place is dysfunctional. There's people not talking to each other, people not, it was kind of surreal when I watched it. It was like the managers were rewarding people for things like, not doing a lot of work. They didn't want to deal with it. And I watched this, and myself too, I watched how I reacted in this environment. And I thought, there's something really wrong with us as human beings that we're not able to have these candid conversations and talk to each other and do the stuff that we need to do. And about 15 years later, the company was filing Chapter 11, and I just remember thinking, okay, this is it. This is my time. I've got to get out and do something. Simultaneously, I was going through some more dysfunction in my life. I was getting divorced. There was stuff going on there too. So I ended up taking my daughter and moving about 2 hours away to the Rochester, New York area, and just said, I'm starting my business here. And I just grassroots started working in companies, helping people to have these conversations, to look at what I didn't know then is now called emotional intelligence, to pay attention to those things. And that's really how I got started. And that was in 1999. And I've been doing that ever since. And now I talk to much larger audiences and,
Sure.
Yeah.
So what was the divorce kind of the aha moment to really kind of spread your wings, going on your own? And if so, how did your family react to that, with you being, kind of going out, even though the company kind of folded, like kind of going out on your own and doing that? Were they supportive or?
Yeah, well, going back to your first question about the divorce, I really think it was the universe pushing me. I think it was a perfect storm of things that
Okay.
just said, you need, all I can think of is REO Speedwagon, time for me to fly. It's like time to get out there and do something because you're not doing what you were meant to do. And I can't say that I, at a conscious level, had a plan and knew what I was doing. My
Right.
my mom was in Newfoundland, Canada, and she was always very supportive. My dad had actually stolen us kids when we were younger, and
Wow.
so I wasn't raised with my mom. But she was very supportive of whatever I decided to do. I did get a really good relationship with her later in life when I finally was brought back together with her. But and my dad was kind of absent, so the family, I had one of my sisters, very, very supportive.
Hmm.
But it wasn't, I was very independent, and so whatever I decided to do, I just did it.
Sure.
And it was kind of like that. It wasn't a plan. It just, everything kind of was brewing, and I just said, all right, I'm out of here. I've got to have a fresh start. I've got to start somewhere new. And that's really
Right.
what.
So you were born into kind of a family of, lack of a better term, the dysfunction, but it seems like you were, am I right in saying maybe you're kind of in the middle of the pack of the 14?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
smack
so
in the
you were
middle.
right. So you were actually serving both ends of the spectrum, where like serving people that are older and younger.
Yeah,
So that's probably, I feel kind of maybe where you're subconsciously it might have started a little bit. With that being said,
exactly.
like how did you get your first client then? You
Oh,
go through
that's a
divorce.
great
I've
one.
been through one, and I know it can.
Yeah.
There's tons of blind spots that come up in your life, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Hmm.
So how did you land that first one?
Yeah, first client was, I was speaking. Somebody canceled their talk that they were going to do at a small rotary outside of Rochester, and somebody just knew that I was eager to speak anywhere, and I went in and did a 10 or 15-minute talk on listening skills and landed my first bank client. And I
Wow.
went in, yeah, and talked to. He said, "Oh my gosh, we need you. We need you. I don't know how this looks, but." And I went in and talked to his team, and then I soon was working with the the upper C-suite of the bank
Yeah.
and stuff, and it really grew organically like that.
Okay. So when you get in front of okay, so you're brought in a lot of times by CEOs or the head of the company. And so they're looking to have you kind of bring in and understand that strategy isn't always what works. You have the culture in place. So I'm thinking that you probably bring in like maybe a plan for the culture, but the CEO brings you in, he's on board. The guy below him is probably looking at you like, dude, we don't need this person. Like, what the hell? Why her? Who's
Yeah,
Laurie? How do you break the ice with that person to get them to not buy into, I hate using that term, but trust you
yeah,
to
yeah.
bring in your new kind of culture, if you will?
Yeah, this is one of the most important things that we need to do is connect and build that rapport and trust with someone. And the first thing I do is just be completely honest and vulnerable, help them to see that I understand where
Hmm.
they're coming from. I mean, being a middle child in a dysfunctional family is certainly something that, sprouted this whole thing for me, but working in all different capacities in an organization, and being kind of in the middle, an employee, a boss, all of that, I can relate to what people are going through. And I really just help them to see that I'm here for them and this is about them. At the same time, it's a win-win-win. We're all going to, do much better individually from a personal level, help them to see that what we're talking about here is very transferable skills into all areas of your life. But it's definitely going to help the CEO, and it's definitely going to help the bottom line.
Love
But
it.
at that moment, I'm servicing that person, not
Nice.
the CEO. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And the people that might be under him or her
Yes.
as well. So what do you think makes a great coach?
Oh, somebody that can really be present and listen, not think that they know the answer, but just help that person to find the answer within themselves and be empowered to make choices, make decisions, and get the courage to do what they really know that they need to do. And the coach is just that conduit. We don't have the answers.
Sure.
Sometimes that might get in the way. We think we have
Right.
the
Right.
answers, but no, we're just that messenger helping someone become who they're supposed to be.
So really no cookie cutter. You are actually digging in and really trying to find their blind spots to help them out. And that's probably done through some pretty powerful questions that you ask, right? I
Yeah,
think.
definitely powerful questions. I use some tools along the way. I'm definitely the GRIT model: generosity, respect, integrity, and truth. And, helping people to dig in and understand who they are and accept who they are and who they want to be. And where's that gap? And how do we work with integrity to get there and respect what we need, what other people need, so that we can be genuinely generous.
Sure.
And that's really the crux of it. I also work with DISC. I've been
Oh
certified
yeah.
in the DISC
So
tool
what
for.
are you then?
Can you guess?
You know what? I'm thinking you might be a high C with a next D. I'm not sure.
I'm actually ID, and this
ID.
this
Okay.
model being dominance, influence, steadiness, conscientiousness.
Yeah.
So very influential and very direct and to the point. So I don't like anybody wasting my time and stuff. It's like, let's get to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Where did the grit come from? What are we looking at there? That's respect, integrity, and truth. What was the generosity? So did you come up with that, or is that something that you
Yeah.
worked with? Wow.
Actually, years ago when I had a team of people working with me, we were, frankly, we were just trying to put a name to what it was we were doing with people in the workplace, how we were helping them. And we were in this conference room that had the whiteboard painted all over, and we were writing, stuff all over, and,
Sure.
just brainstorming. And the words generosity, respect, integrity, and truth just popped out to me.
I love that.
And it was like grit. And then we started talking further about it. And I said, I'm not necessarily happy about the way I have to start with the last truth, go integrity, respect, and then generosity. But it really is the path to getting to grit. And it's not your typical grit. It's the typical grit is go out there, get this at whatever cost, trample over people, you'll get this goal, or do it at the expense of your health or your own relationships. And this grit is more about doing it without the collateral damage. So we're in balance with what we need and with what other people need, so that we can be genuinely generous.
Love it.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
That's grit. Yep.
No, that's great. And so let's put this way. If I'm at a networking event and I'm pressing some flesh, well, right now we're not, because we're in like day 900 of our quarantine.
Gosh, yes.
But what am I listening for when I talk to people to think of Laurie Sudbrink for Unlimited Coaching? Like, what kind of keywords are they saying that I might say, hey, I want to put her together with Laurie?
Well, it's the the negative talk about the boss. It's the lack of communication. It's the stress. It's the I'm feeling overwhelmed. It's like we have no direction. We don't know what we're doing here. It's
Sure.
My boss is a jerk kind of thing. It's all those pain points that you're hearing from people in the workplace, and then going in, to deeper questions to find out, well, what is it feeling like there? What is it looking like? What would it be if you had that magic wand and it could be the way you wanted it to be, and exploring and helping them to see, really what is the root of it? Because a lot of times people will come to me and they'll say, oh, we need a communications workshop, or we need a stress management workshop. And then it's like, well, okay, can I ask you a few questions first? And I start to dig in, and more times than I've expected, I've found a different thing that people needed. And more times than not, it was the level above that needed the work before the level that they wanted the work to be done with. And so it's really important, because leaders, especially formal leaders in that role, but even informal leaders, are making a difference. And we have a different responsibility in the workplace and in our lives. We really have to take care of ourselves, so that what we're putting out there is hope. And it's, it's helping people. Yeah. So you
have to kind of push it out there in a way that they want to trust you and build their culture. Yes, I have that a lot of times where people will come up to me and, man, my employees suck or something
Yeah,
like that. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
let's look into that. Okay, so I know a great resource that I can turn them to. That's fantastic. So let's hop in our DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the time when Laurie was 22 years old. Let's meet Laurie. What are you
Mm.
telling her with the knowledge that you have now?
I am telling her to take a deep breath, to look inside, to pay attention to how you're feeling and what thought is behind that, and be a little more patient.
Love it.
Yeah.
And what do you think, because you're middle child of a lot, what do you think people misunderstand about Laurie the most?
They misunderstand my passion and my empathy. I think for being too forceful sometimes. Just I get very, very passionate about things, and I'm outspoken, and I can be direct. And I think sometimes that can be misunderstood as trying to force, or just being maybe too loud
I think you were
sometimes.
trying to be heard when you were a kid. The only reason why I'm saying is I'm a
Oh
middle
yeah.
child too. Okay. So I want to be heard. So I'm like, oh, especially,
Absolutely.
so especially during this time, I'm a residential, I'm a luxury realtor here in South Florida. And it's
Yeah.
like, things are just going, I'm just like kind of biting at my team. And I'm like, I can't do that.
Right.
But people will misunderstand that from me. I don't not like you. It's that I want to be heard sometimes. Well, thank you for being transparent with that. That's amazing.
Sure.
Is there any good question that when you start talking to people that are prospects for Unlimited Coaching Solutions, is there any good questions that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Oh, wow. Any good questions I wish they would ask me? Probably the biggest question is the why. Like, why do you think this might be happening in our organization?
I love that. That's
Yeah.
nice. Okay. Awesome. So let's remove our cell phone, our laptop, our iPad, or whatever you're using. Let's take that
Good.
out of the equation. What are 3 things that Laurie can't live without?
Oh my gosh, I'd love to live without electronics. Put me out in the middle of the woods, right? So I would probably say, let's remove family too, because I couldn't live without my daughter and my
Sure.
grandsons. But I would say nature is probably one of the number one things. Put me in a tiny house in a beautiful area any day of the week over a mansion in the city. I would love, can't live without nature. Music, I love music. Like, music just feeds my soul. It motivates me. I don't want to live without music. And I guess I'd have to say grit.
There you
Don't
go.
want to live without
Which,
grit.
just a reminder, it's generosity,
Generosity.
respect, integrity, and truth,
Yes.
people. I might just steal it and turn it into trig, and truth, respect, integrity, and generosity. I'm
Love
just
it.
kidding. I won't do
I
that.
love it. I
I
love
won't
it.
do that. But tell me your definition of a life well lived.
I would say it's just being truly, I know it sounds cliche, but being truly happy with who we are, with the decisions that we've made, feeling like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and not something that somebody else thinks you should be, or even in your own head, just living the life that you've got right here in front of you, being present.
Love that. Just be present, be empathetic, right? Like,
Yes,
really here. I
yeah,
love that. I love that you're attached to nature as well, because doing that will kind of give you a sabbatical,
yeah,
to be able to kind of step away. I mean, luckily I have this big, huge Atlantic Ocean I'm looking at here to my left. I'm blessed to be looking
love
at
it.
that, but it's like, that's my little time in sabbatical. So we're going to move into our level up lightning round. Okay.
Okay.
There's 5 or 6 questions I'm going to ask you, but we could talk for each one for 20 minutes, but my producer's laughing because I always say this to everybody. 5 to 7 seconds. This is rapid fire. Okay. So
Okay.
I'm going to ask you, ready to go?
Ready.
All right, Laurie, what's the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Ooh, I would say the best leveling up would be to mind my thoughts, because they drive my emotions and my behavior.
Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Oh, keeping healthy, really from all levels, keeping myself very healthy.
Love that. Love it. Love it. Other than unlimitedcoaching.com and of course timetoshinetoday.com, that's my shameless plug. What is a great website that you like to go to level up?
Oh gosh, I'm a huge Google fan. Like
You
I'm
just end it
all
right
over
there
the
because
place.
when someone says Google, that works. That's perfect. We'll end it right there. That's fine. Okay, what is your go-to book? Not the flavor of the week, not your own. What is the book that you like to hand out to people?
Four
And
Agreements,
there
Don
you go,
Miquel
Donnie.
Ruiz.
Okay, love that. What's your favorite charity or organization that you like to give your time and/or money to?
Mm. I give to suicide
Thank you
organizations,
for doing
and
that.
yeah, and I change up all the time. My proceeds from my G.R.I.T planner actually go to that. I had two brothers
Beautiful.
that died
Thank you
by
for doing
suicide.
that.
Yeah.
All right, last question. What is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
I gotta pick the 80s.
80s. I love the 80s too. Big hair, don't care. Love it. Okay, so leave the Time to Shine Today podcast squad with one knowledge nugget that you want them to take with them, internalize, and envelop into their life.
I'm gonna say keep your thoughts healthy. Focus on thoughts that serve you instead of that ruin you.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And how can we find you?
Well, leadingwithgrit.com, you can sign up and get free workplace tips from there. And also, I'm really trying to work on my YouTube channel because I'm not great at video. So if you go to Laurie Sudbrink, LaurieSudbrink, on any of the social media, you can find me there.
Well, beautiful. And tell us about the Grit Productivity Planner that we can find on Amazon. Because, by the way,
Yeah,
folks, whoever replies first into the Facebook page, which this is going to come out a couple weeks from now, this actual interview, but whoever replies into the Facebook fan page, I'm going to personally send you a copy of the ebook from Laurie's Grit Productivity Planner. But tell us a little bit about it, please.
very cool. Thanks. Yeah, the productivity planner is all about being able to look at your life, figure out what you want out of life, not set competing goals so that you're depleting yourself. It's all about grit. And it's a full year undated planner. Amazon.com/gritty stuff, GRITTYSTUFF is
Love it.
where you can find the planner. So yeah, it's a great tool to create the life that you really deserve.
That's awesome. And squad, it's been such a pleasure to sit down with my friend Laurie Sudbrink. And grit, wow, I've never heard this put this way, but generosity, respect, integrity, and truth. That's an amazing way to level up and live your life, to also level up your emotional intelligence, to be vulnerable when you're meeting people, yet confident. She's humble, she's hungry, she levels up her health, levels up her wealth, and now she's part of our squad, and you can't go anywhere. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing these valuable knowledge nuggets with the Time to Shine podcast squad.
And thank you. Thanks so much for having me. And I was going to offer, I'm happy to kick in a free planner too. So if
Awesome.
yep. So
You're
you want
that
to,
people, the first two people that actually comment when we drop her podcast into the Time to Shine Today Facebook page, we'll get two, or we'll get one from each of us. We'll do that. All righty. Thank you so much, Laurie.
thanks.